Microphone. Oh gosh. Seven people waiting for me to start. Seven people waiting. Yeah. Come on then, let's start. Let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. Yes. I must turn the volume down. Yes. Right, there we go. Good evening, happy Christmas, Merry New Year, etc. Tonight I'm going to start my evening with a beer. Thanks very much to my friend David of the Team Hairy Snid International headquarters, who gave me this beer a couple of weeks back, and I went and forgot it. Left it in the back of the car to stay okay. So let's tip this in here. It's a session beer as well, a session. Old session hen. It even gives you the clue on the bottle, so you don't get confused and think it's old sparkly hen or old rustic hen. What's the other one? Not speckled, the strong one. There's a really strong one, but this one's only 3.4. So I thought, I'm allowed tonight to have a proper glug on my live stream. Some of you know why. And why not start with one that's going to do no damage whatsoever? At 3.4%, you could feed that to the children. Nice and refreshing. It's a bit like shandy. I mean, nobody who wants a proper good drinking session would drink shandy unless the only points of the drinking session would be to keep topping it, flipping it back. Gosh, I'm stumbling on my words. I don't even need a drink to actually fall over my words, do I? I just do it naturally anyway. But yeah, you imagine out with your mates, your big hard tattooed mates. Yeah, your big hard tattooed mates, the kind of people that when you look at their Facebook profile is not a picture of them or a picture of their dog or a picture of them with their car. No, it's them on holiday with about 5 or 6 lads, all with their tops off. How camp! But they're the hard ones that you've got to watch out for, and they've always got this kind of expression. But yeah, no top on, no top. Usually, like I said, tattoos, football shirts, this kind of thing. They'll have one of their hands on their mate's shoulder like that, and it's like, all right, lads. They call each other lads. They refer to men as lads rather than gentlemen, because actually the kind of people they're talking to aren't gentlemen. They're lads. They're grown-up boys. Anyway, that's a bit of a distraction, as I'm sure you'll agree. So what I was going to say, yes, of course, today is, and as Peter P's already pointed out, my birthday. It's my birthday today, and now I'm not a birthday kind of person. I wouldn't talk about it, I wouldn't tell anyone about it, I don't really get excited by it, and in actual fact, I find the days leading up to it, I find it a bit depressing, really. So I don't really want to think about it, talk about it, etc. And then it's just like Christmas, where I hate the build-up. I don't really want to know. It's just like I'm looking forward to the day after. But on the day, towards the end of the day, maybe like 8 o'clock, which it was an hour ago, then I think, all right, yeah, excellent. I do that every year with Christmas. I hate Christmas songs. Well, I don't hate all of them, but I hate hearing them too much. Thankfully, last year it wasn't really such a terrible ordeal. But then it gets to Christmas Day and the end of Christmas Day when they stop playing them, and I actually want to hear them. A typical thing, I suppose, where what you actually want is what you can't have. And even if you do want it, provided it's forced at you, you no longer want it. And that's me. That's me. So, yeah, that's that. That's my explanation for having a beer tonight, because I'm, well, giving into it. I've got no choice. I'm not getting younger, I'm getting older, as we all are. And you may as well enjoy it, or at least try. So that beer is going to get glugged down quite quickly and then followed by another one. And if you're lucky, maybe another one after that. I don't really care. I've got no need to hold back tonight. There's just no need whatsoever. I've got food in the oven, which I'm not even eating because I don't want any, because it's pizza. Homemade, I made it. I made the dough. I made everything there except the cheese. I didn't actually make the cheese. I don't really have the facilities to actually make cheese. Although I could give it a go. It's just milk that's gone off, basically, isn't it? One day I'll try that. One day I will. So I need to keep my eye on this a little bit, because as soon as that's ready, I shall just simply take it out of the oven, divvy it up, and take it into the other room. And that will be my little job done for the evening. I am completely relaxed after that. I might look quite relaxed now, but actually, I'm not as relaxed as I'd like to be. Probably won't be any farts tonight, but I'd imagine with this beer that tastes quite a lot like shandy, as I said, maybe a few burps. And which do you prefer? Which do you find the most offensive? Do you find any of it offensive? Do you find somebody burping offensive? Do you find somebody farting offensive? Do you find anyone hiccuping offensive? Do you find anyone sneezing offensive? Do you find anyone falling over and making a loud shouting noise offensive? Or are you just completely indifferent to the lot? Do tell me, because I must admit to being a little bit annoyed by one of them. Would you like to guess which one it is? Either burping, farting, sneezing, hiccuping, falling over and hurting yourself. And I don't mean hurting me, I mean somebody else hurting themselves. Let's see who's joining me tonight. As I can see at the moment, there are 25 of you. And 25 is not a bad number to start with, but it would be nice if it went up quite a bit more. And we have 9 likes so far. I've been going for 7.5 minutes. Surely you know whether you're going to like it or not. Right, so let's go back to the start. We have, of course, the Greenwood is here, who says, evening all and happy birthday to Mustard. Hope you've had a lovely day. I always have a lovely day. I do my very best every day to have a lovely day. Otherwise, what's the point in having a day? You may as well take to your bed. Peter P is here. Hello, Peter P. Peter P and Greg Anderson. Right, like Disney Dwarves, says Greg Anderson. What's that then? What's that all about? I don't know what you mean. I'm missing something there. Oh, hang on, a special live stream. I don't know. Maybe Greg just likes Disney Dwarves, or maybe I don't know. New Metal Viking Johnny Crook. Hey, Johnny Crook is here. Last time I did a live stream, I actually had little Johnny Crook out. So, to celebrate the arrival of Johnny Crook, let's bring small Johnny Crook out. The Johnny Crook mascot, where can he go, where he can be seen, just ever so slightly in the corner like that. That's the best way, isn't it? This is where actually, oh, I tell you, what about the fish tank? Even better. Even better, there we go. Do you like that? Do you like that up there? I certainly do. Because he's going to be visible all the time. It looks a bit like that. What we can see there is some hand sanitizer on top of the fridge. Fish tank. It looks like he's holding a box of cornflakes or something, doesn't he? Showing off his strength. And good evening, my friend. Happy birthday. Thank you, Johnny Crook. Emma Lemon. Bloody hell, haha. I had to open this while editing and suddenly there I was watching. Ah, right. The 7 people waiting and nearly had a heart attack. Ah, right, I get you, I understand now. Right. Anyway, good evening, Emma Lemon. Nice to have you here. Lovely sausages. Don't start copying me. You won't end well. Oh, and happy birthday. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Emma. Gaz and the Trike. says here, there's a live stream. Let's have a butcher's. Oh, and before I forget, I'd best have a butcher's under here, hadn't I? I think we'll say this is about right. So, for this part of the live stream, what I'm going to simply do is take this food out, chop it up into bits, stick it on some plates, take it next door in and out quite quickly so you can't hear the television, and back to what we're doing here. So which one? Oh, first, let's have the pizza out. It's a rather odd shaped pizza, because they are sometimes. They don't have to be circular, do they? Usually what I would do when it comes to making a pizza would be to simply I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, make it so it fills up the tray. That's what I would normally try and do. But on this instance, it's not been possible. And I was going to have some of this myself, but I've already broken my rule tonight, so that means that I can't do. You might think, oh, couldn't you have done this beforehand? But you should have done this before you started your live stream, eh? No, I didn't do that. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Oh, well, there's one. Oh, somebody will be saying, you should have your hair tied up if you're messing with food. Yes, I should. Yes, I should. But I can't find a cable tie, so that makes it really awkward. And, ooh, the cable tie is the best way of tidying up one's bunt noodles rather than one of those bubble things. Look at that. Look, I'm actually holding the tray. That's how quickly the heat disappears out of it. So garlic bread as well. There we go. Oh, that's also homemade. It's not turned out quite as big as I was hoping. It looks a bit like a spring roll, actually. Cut it up with this. Ow! Ow! Gosh, that's hot. Well, of course it's hot, you bloody lunatic. Right, okay, 1 second. Here we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Oh, one more.
Oh, could you have cheese on the side?
Oh, I said I'm not messing about with it. Right, okay. No, I'll do it. I did say I was going to just come and drink straight in. It needs to go back in the fridge, doesn't it?
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Right. Where was I? I was reading out comments. Nah, there we go. The rule's broken already. I said we have to keep the door closed. Mind you, I went in there with my microphone on, so obviously, should the interruption had been one where there's music being played on in the background, I could have got myself into some lumber there, but fortunately not. Now, one of my little girls wants the pizza but doesn't want the cheese on it. So I cook it, but she does want the cheese, but she doesn't want it on top. So that, I don't understand that. Why would you want your pizza with cheese that isn't cooked? Right, my glasses back on again. Let's get back to where I was up to before you all disappear. Carol C is here. Happy birthday, Mustard. Is this correct? You are an Aquarius like myself. We like liquids. Well, I like liquids, and there's lots of liquid behind me as well. So I guess, yeah. Tonic 10. Oh, Tonic 110 is here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Peter P. Hindu Kush Buddhist English Church. YH. Now, for somebody who can put all those words together to make a username, not sure why you only came up with YH as some sort of introduction to being here tonight. But welcome anyway. Welcome anyway. Maybe what will come next will be a whole load of rather interesting and intricate thoughts written down in such a way that I get distracted from my usual way of doing a live stream and just sit here and ponder about nihilism. And Tonic, but yeah, I don't really, to be honest, I don't really think about what dates people are born on, you know. I mean, all you have to do if you want to remember when they were born, but as far as all the astrology stuff, it's not really for me. It's not really for me. I won't go into what I really think of it because it's just simply not really for me. That's all there is to it. And Otter MG, thank you very much for that as well. Happy birthday, says, and I know he's talking to me because everybody knows. Right, some introductions there. Dino Dad is here. Hello, Dino Dad. Big, I see, well done. Hindu Kush Buddhist English Church says Big 70. Wow, well done you. We share the same birthday but 15 years apart. Happy birthday to you. Very best wishes, thank you. Otter Gaz Otter. Dan Sturdy here says good evening, lovely people, and happy birthday, Mustard. Hello to you. We've chosen our Eurovision entry, says Peter P. We have. Have we? Have we really? Oh, I don't know anything about it. Do you know what? There are lots and lots of things that go on in the sort of just everyday culture that I am completely oblivious to. And do you know why? Because I'm not that interested. I can't help it. I can't pretend. And I won't pretend to like either football, I'm a celebrity, please get me out of the jungle, or the other thing, the Eurovision Song Contest. Certainly now, I mean, it's not even funny now that Terry Wogan doesn't do it. Terry Wogan can't do it, can he? Do you know what? This is actually a really, really pleasant beer. A really pleasant beer. It's funny, actually, because you find that some of the weaker ones, some of the session beers, can be exceedingly good. They just can't get you drunk. Right. Treat yourself to a birthday haircut, says Aid Braid. I don't need a birthday haircut. I can do it whenever I want. I mean, I am thinking of cutting it again, like I did about a month back. And I just did it myself, you know, in the same way that I'll trim my beard and cut my own toenails and make my own cup of tea. It's not that difficult, especially if you're not particularly fussy. It's really a case of you can't do a great deal about hair sprouting out of your head. So you just trim it. You just trim it, make sure it's not too much in the way. And it is starting to feel in the way a little bit again. But I don't want to get rid of all of it because then I won't feel like me. Will I? No. I'd be, if I got rid of my hair, it would be a bit like Iggy Pop suddenly wearing a shirt. He just wouldn't feel right, would he? Captain Mustard is rocking the Dijon mustard jumper. But it's my jumper, not Boaty's. Let's not get mixed up. We could be in the same room together with a similar colour jumper. Yeah, I don't think he'd like that, though, because he'd probably assume I was copying him, but I'm not copying him. Did you do something you enjoyed today? A drive in the countryside? Asks Carol C. Well, yeah, sort of. We went out as a last-minute decision to the Great Orme in Llandudno. And I'm not going to say Llandudno because I'm English and we don't pronounce it like that. But yeah, so it was quite a nice drive out. I say it's a nice drive out. It's not really that exciting a drive. It's It's quite nice. It's quite nice when you get there. Obviously, it's very nice when you get there. It's also very, very cold as well. So cold, I didn't really want to hang about outside for that long, and neither did Dog. And then drove home, and it was dark. And it's not particularly nice driving home in the dark, especially in my car. My car. I mean, I love driving it, but the headlamps they're just not really very good at all. They're really not very good. You can't. If you've got full beam on, they make a huge difference. But you can't just put full beam on just because you can't see where you're going. No, you have to put them on when you can't see where you're going, and there's nobody else to worry about you seeing where you're going. As it goes from Mum, it's my responsibility. So I'm the one that has to not be able to see where I'm going by just having my dipped headlamps on. Not sure why they're so bad, but they're just really bad compared to the other cars I have knocking about. I mean, you may as well just get your torch out on your mobile phone and shine that in front of you. Good evening. Did I miss much, says Mighty Cat Mods? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what you missed? I don't even know myself. Mustard farts are more collectible than burps. Yeah, I suppose they are. I find burping quite offensive. I don't like hearing it while I'm eating. Makes me feel a bit ick. Oh, does it? Right. Okay. I'll consider that. Hi. I think that's why. I think that's why God then inflicted me with IBS, which makes me burp all the time, just to teach me a lesson. That is teaching you a lesson, isn't it? But why? Why would he give you something to teach you a lesson? Oh, there we go. What again? Stratospherian. Sorry, I'll come back to everybody else in a second. But Stratospherian is such a such a top chap. Has gifted another 5 memberships. That's fantastic. I will say actually that if you can afford 99 pence a month, you can be a channel member all by yourself. It's easy. You just do the thing. I'll put that in the description. Yeah, 99 pence a month. It's not much. I'm not asking you to do it. I'm just telling you that you can do if you really want to. But well done, and thank you very, very much, Stratospherian, for doing that rather lovely and kind thing. And who's got the memberships? We have Batman Rubin, which is good, and Pocahontas 100, which is great. Cheesy, which is all right, not so bad. And John the Bus Enthusiast, that's excellent. And Rishbath Tripathy, which is also exceedingly good. And just after this, before I go back to the comments where I was up to, and thank you all again for that, I just noticed that Johnny Two Scoops is here. Oh, thank you. I'm really pleased to see Johnny Two Scoops. I really, really am. Johnny and I went on a little trip out yesterday, which there will be a video for, but I don't really know whether. Well, I mean, it's not. It was a him than me. I just make a video out of it, and the video I made was not as big as you'd expect because Johnny and I went to a place called Hinckley, and we just talked all the way. Like we properly talked. It's not like just a casual conversation. So we got properly engrossed in conversation to really make any video. But I made plenty of video stuff on the way back. So we went to pick a car up for Johnny. And it's nice to know that he's back in a Subaru. Really, really nice. So thanks again, Stratosphere. What a wonderful thing to do. Let's get back to where I was up to, because obviously reading comments out, it's not like that's what live streams are about, but it's more about reading something, and that will trigger a thought. It will trigger a memory. It will trigger an idea that I have to share with you because you'd be interested in it. Or if you're not interested, then maybe I could make you interested. Where was I? Oh, I was there, right, with this and Palestine, right, and something I don't understand. So, yeah, I can't really do a great deal with that, I'm afraid, but well done. On Monday, it was my birthday, says Carol C. I tried Hawkstone IPA. Jeremy Clarkson. It was very nice. Good. I know it's very expensive as well. Good evening to everyone who arrived since I first said good evening, says Emma Lemon. Hope everyone is having a nice weekend. How nice of you to consider that. Oh, and Carl Davis as well. Lovely to see Carl Davis here. Hello. Happy birthday, Mustard, says Black Lions. Thank you. I like wild water swimming. There we go. There we go. Mark Passad's just become a member. Congratulations. You will be able to watch the next video that I put up before everybody else does. Thank you very much, Mark. But where was I? Where was I up to? Where was I up to? No, it's not Boaty's jumper. Right, okay. Swimming, so an appropriate place for me. Yes. Thank you, Mighty Cat Mod. Breaking wind, especially if it's smelly. My hubby does this in supermarkets. Terrible. I got to admit, if I do it in the supermarket, I will do it as loudly as possible and then stand there looking around. Not to see if anyone's noticed, but like to say, who did that? Or, even better, if you stood near someone, you just look at them as if they have done it. Hello, Black Lions. Wow, a beige fest. Don't know what to say about that, really, besides thanks. I sliced the end of my thumb off tonight whilst cooking a lasagna. That hurt a bit. Whilst cooking a lasagna. I don't really understand how that works. Maybe in the preparation of cutting up onions, but cooking the lasagna, that's done in the oven. What were you doing at the time? Why was you slicing up something else if you're cooking the lasagna? Unless it's, for lasagna, it's like a side dish. Or whether he was just messing around with a knife and just showing off. The jumper is from the Joseph Lloyd collection. Oh, indeed. 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 When I first met Joseph Lloyd, I thought, what a dapper chap. He's just a gentleman. He's not one of these. He's just not one of these lads, is he? Yeah, you definitely wouldn't call Joseph Lloyd a lad. He commands respect. And I thought, I quite like a piece of that pie myself. The Greg Anderson, the 7 Disney dwarfs, 7 people watching at the time. Anyway, isn't your flatulence technically mustard gas? Yes, it is. Which makes it particularly exciting when it happens. Oh, the pizza is making me hungry, says Carol. It's not making me hungry. I don't really need any pizza. Yes, that is true. Yeah, the jumper used to be in Austin Marina colour. Slightly, this is a more conservative beige than what the Marina colour was, I think. And Allegro as well, remember. That's the same colour as Tom's Allegro that he bought off Allegro Man. Hearing aid beige. It's not hearing aid beige, is it? No, it's not. 3 women in the house, no hair tie. Well, yeah, there are, but I just can't bother going looking for one, if that's the honest answer, I suppose. You look like you've lost weight, says Emma. Well, I have, that's why. Of course I have. How can you tell I'm sat down? I need to be stood up. I need to cover the midriff part to properly show you, but I'm not going to do that. I mean, that's not really my style. Not because I'm worried about putting anyone off or upsetting anyone, but I actually don't want to do. So stop asking me to do that. I'm not taking my jumper off. Stop. Yeah, I've lost actually about 1.5 stone. But that's from a year ago. But I'd say I've lost half a stone in the past 3 weeks. Why? Through making sure I eat enough meat. That's really it. Somebody should have bought you some cable ties for your birthday. Nice one, Carol. I've got loads of cable ties at work, but obviously I'm not at work, so I can't. And actually, the ones I've got at work are the ones from Temu, which are, if I'm honest, just a bit cack. and they don't really hold anything that well at all because they're like that long, and the things like that thick, so it doesn't really get a good grip on anything. They are useless. It was that point. That was the last thing I bought from Temu, thinking, oh, this is really good stuff. And I never actually thought at any point, oh, I tell you what, it's really good value, this, you know. In fact, it's the other way around. Of course, we all know this is why Temu will probably disappear within the next year. That you're sucked into this idea of getting all this stuff really, really cheap, and when it arrives, it's no good. But you end up buying some more. That's what I did, and that's what I regret. Cut the pizza into 6 slices. I couldn't handle 8. Oh, hang on. Yep, right. I miss my long hair, says Carl. Yeah, well, I suppose if you've had it for a long time, you do end up feeling like you're just not yourself without it. What time do we think the first fish question will be asked? Well, that only ever happens when we have somebody new come in that's never been here before. They see a fish tank behind, they're just curious, aren't they? They probably assume that nobody's ever asked that before. Where's the pineapple? I don't know. Ah, right, Carl. I could be slightly jealous of this here. Got me 3 McEwen's Champions tonight. Oh, that's a good beer, isn't it, that one? Don't need any more than that. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Mr. Paul, on your birthday. McEwen's Champion is definitely a winner of a beer. But don't worry, because I won't go short tonight. Definitely not. 1 year closer to pension day. Well, not exactly. I've not really set up anything really for that. I'm just hoping that my life takes a turn for the best and suddenly I become a millionaire by the time I'm 56. Had 2 bishops' fingers. Any more liquid than that, I'll wear the London carpet out tonight. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Hi, Mark. Hi, Go Fast Racing is here. Happy birthday. Thank you. Enjoy an extra pint for me today. Oh, well, why can't I enjoy it for me? I can't actually enjoy a pint or a beer or what have you, really, for anyone else other than for me. You can enjoy watching me enjoy it if you like, but I'm not sure I can do any more than that. I can't even promise, can I? And that's where Stratospherian gifted 5 memberships, and that is something I am very, very appreciative of. Landed no, copying Boaty, asks Carol C. Well, no, because Landed no was there before I even knew Boaty, and it was there before he was even around to like the place, wasn't he? Yeah, Landed no's been there. I've always liked the place. I mean, like most sensible people, you're going to like it. It's a lovely place. And the Great Orme is a fantastic place to go up. And my little diesel car got all the way up the Great Orme without overheating. What I was really surprised by, though, was when we've been up there for 10 minutes, a Volkswagen van came up. A Volkswagen van. A 1971 Volkswagen van with the air-cooled engine. Got up that hill. Not sure how it managed it. Farting and belching are 2 of the funniest things, says CBR Boy. CBR Boy, you're not wrong, but you're also completely incorrect. And Windy Miller, yes, Windy Miller. Always lovely to see Windy Miller is here as well. Plus Wilma, yes, Wilma came with me. Johnny One Scoop. Yes. Why don't you change your name then to Johnny One Scoop? Are you? I suppose nobody would be inspired to make a username up by having one car, because practically all people have one car, don't they? It's only when they have 2 cars of the same make We think that's what people will know you for. So no one's really going to know you for one scoop, are they? So maybe you're right. Stick with 2, but just keep 1. It's much cheaper. What would I call myself if I was to do the same thing? I'd end up with a bit of a problem, wouldn't I? Because the names would always be changing because I've got a different amount of personal cars, quite a lot. But currently it's 4. Oh, have you listed them? Right, so it could be Paul 4 Rovers and an MG. Doesn't have much of a ring to that, does it, really? But then, if you're going to do that, you might as well add the other things as well and say Peugeot bike. Yeah, nobody'd like that. Hello, chums. What's crackling, says Windy Miller. Oh, we'll find out soon enough. Are you still Johnny Many Mercs? Oh, you're going to miss that, Mercedes, aren't you, mate? Johnny, still an Audi man, asks Dino Dad. See, this is a fabulous thing here, is that it's not that other chap's live stream where everybody knows each other. Everybody knows each other on mine as well. I can play that game too. Yes, Johnny No Mercs. Oh, Johnny Scubaldi. That's not a bad one, actually. No more Raffish 190 content then, sad face. No one, eh? Oh. Who did 190 content? Not me. Well, not much anyway. Oh gosh, the burps are coming now, I'm afraid. Lord Brennan of Sealand, loving both channels' progress. The refinements are really noticeable. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. Yeah, the Lord Brennan of Sealand, who offered lots of really good advice, come to think of it, fairly recently. Lots of good advice that I agree with. Actually, lots of people give me advice, and sometimes it's good advice. But then again, you only assume that advice is good if you agree with it. If you don't agree with it, you just think it's not good advice. But the fact that you might need that advice in the first place could suggest that you need it and that it's actually good advice, and you're particularly out of order for not realizing it. So, to all the people that have offered me advice that I've disagreed with, I'm sorry. Maybe you're right. In fact, there's a good chance you were. Right, anyway, yeah, thank you. I do intend on keeping this thing going. This channel, yes, this channel. I'm something like probably be less than 200 watch hours off. Hang on, is it 200? I think it's 200. Is it? I don't know. Is it 200 or 20? No, 200 watch hours. I think is what I need. 200 watch hours to do the proper partnership thing where I can actually make some money off of adverts as well as channel memberships. Because the channel memberships, I really, really do appreciate it very, very much. But normally what happens is that if you're bunging up a lot of videos, that's where the majority of the money comes from. Or unless you get sponsored by someone that happens to like your stuff. And nobody's really offered to do that with me. I cannot think why. Maybe it's just the wrong people are looking. That 190. I see what you mean. I'm sorry. Yes, that 190. Sad face, but needs must. Yes, it was whilst preparing lasagna. I was cutting an onion. How else would you cut your thumb? Preparing. That's the difference, isn't it? Knowing the difference between cooking and preparing. Well done, Emma. Yes, damn this late-stage capitalism that forces us to make these unfortunate choices, says Windy Miller, referring no doubt to Johnny's 190. The lasagna got a slice of well done. I have some trousers in the same colour as your sweater. I never wear them. Wendy's attention to detail is something I like. Windy trousers. 10mm socket. Hello, 10mm socket. Good. I'm watching from my bed, says Carol C. Cozy under the duvet. It's cold in Northumberland tonight. Well, Northumberland is in the UK, and I think all of the UK is actually quite cold. Or is there somewhere abouts in the UK at the moment that isn't that cold? Without being inside, that is. Just here. What's your favourite shape? I love that Windy Miller. Windy Miller's having a go at doing the kind of question that somebody might ask if they're just desperate to be part of a conversation. Ironically as well. So let's answer that question accurately. What's your favourite shape? Well, my favourite shape, of course, is the triangle, and I don't know why. I just find it very attractive. Jolly good. Just got back from the curry house, stuffed. Watching from a McDonald's car park. I'm very cozy too. Oh, that's good. Well done. Gaz on a trike answers Wendy's question with the shape of things to come. Brilliant. Well done. My grandparents lived in Old Colwyn. Many happy days in North Wales, says Carol C. I too am a big fan of Wales. North Wales. A lot of it's not particularly pleasant, really. It looks all really run down until you get to Llandudno. Then it doesn't look run down. It looks all like glamorous, really, very glamorous. So, if you want to stay in Wales, I think you probably only need to be about 5 minutes away from Llandudno, and you can stay somewhere cheap because the cheap places are very cheap. What's the other place I like up there? Oh, well, Anglesey. Anglesey is always really good. Anglesey as well is the same kind of thing, really, where there's the parts of it that are really expensive, like Beaumaris, and then the rest of it is just really cheap. So I wonder whether I can find a hotel in Anglesey, like quite near Beaumaris or Holyhead, and then you've got there anyway. Why would you need to stay in the expensive part? Nice, says the Greenwood. I had a meal in an Indian restaurant on Thursday, 10mm. I actually had 3 scoops when I came up with the name. Yeah, but you had 3 scoops. Right. Now that is confusing. When I met Johnny, he had. Oh. Uh-oh. What have I done now? Oh, no. I figured it out. Come on. One step ahead here. One step ahead with another beer. It's only the cheap one. It's only the cheap Aldi lager that's the San Miguel copy. But to my mind, actually better than San Miguel. Yeah. When I first met Johnny, he had 3 Subarus. I didn't realise that you made the name this flash of inspiration to call yourself Johnny 2 Scoops came whilst owning 3 Scoops. That doesn't make a great deal of sense, but I like it. I like it a lot. Maybe actually you was thinking ahead because you thought, I'm struggling to keep 3 Subarus on the road. I'm going to have to sell one of them, but I also want a YouTube channel. How can I future-proof this name? And that's what you did. But of course, you didn't future-proof it enough. Well, thanks for telling me that, though. I'm getting familiar with the place. My bathroom scales are now reading to be continued. Many Mustard Motors new name. Well, yep, could do. That is if Project Nigel isn't actually quite good enough a name, or mustard. I would call myself Windy Gets to use a scoop sometimes. Who gave me a membership? Asks 10 Mil Socket. Well, it will be Stratospherian, who just gave some memberships away. And if you happen to be one of the people that accept gifts, then it must have been your turn. The idea of the gifted memberships, of course, is that you can just carry on. Once it's run out, then you can just renew it yourself if you like, if you think there's any point to it. I've not been taken out for a meal in ages, says the Greenwood 10 Mil. So this was a pleasant surprise. £100 though. Glad I wasn't paying £100 for a meal. Wow. £100 for a meal. Where'd you go, McDonald's? I get lots of advice too. Says Windy. Shut up, go away, don't come back. Stratospherian have memberships. Gaz on a Try says, finally persuaded the missus into me. Standard today with the promise of sausage. Stop it. Yeah. A stop it sandwich. And a wander around an antique place. Only been 3 years. Which antique place is this then? I took the family out, says 10 Mil Socket, a few weeks ago. Greedy gits bumped the bill up to £275. Am I living on a different planet to everybody else? £275? I could buy a car for that. Or even more, like I'd probably end up selling one for that. It's all down to what part of the country you're in, obviously. But anywhere that charges that kind of money has got to be either exceptionally good, I mean, like good beyond possible, or exceptionally expensive. Started ordering Cobra at £6 a bottle. Both in the tank or in general. Retrim the sunroof slider in grey Alcantara, says Carl Davis. The one I bought from you, Captain. It looks good. Yes, he did. He bought the sunroof out of Boaty's car. See, it's been of some use, isn't it? We don't just let things go to waste, do we? No, or I don't anyway. Plenty more Rover 25 bits to come, hopefully. Now, I had somebody asking me yesterday, or this morning, about that car. So you should provide a price list for parts, but there's not really a lot of point in that, is there? I'm not going to keep everything. I'm not going to take every single bit off and store it. I've tried that. All it does is lead to not knowing what I've got left because I can't keep on top of it. I haven't got a big enough place to do exactly that. So it's no. If you want it, ask, and I'll tell you, and then you can buy it. Having a shit to you, Mustard. Rhombus. Yes, rhombus. Hexagon. Good. A crescent myself, says Windy Miller. This is down to the question of what's your favourite shape? What a fantastic question. What an insightful question that is. Hi, Carol C. says Stratospherian. I didn't quite understand if I was a question or a statement that I have a membership. You have a membership, and yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, I'm sick of having an itchy ear. Oh, but by the way, I mean I've got an itchy ear. I always get an itchy ear, but this ear was blocked up, and you know I kept putting it off, and I need to get it syringed. But these days, you can't have an ear just syringed, can you? You've got to pay like 70 odd quid for it. Oh, it's fantastic when you get your hearing back, but remarkably, it just fixed itself. I've spent months not being able to hear out of that ear, and then suddenly I can hear as well as the other one. In fact, ever so slightly better than the other one. And all I've done ever since is wish I was deaf again, because things are just way too loud. Quite partial to a parallelogram, says Dino Dad. Typo Strat. I can recommend Dolgul. We very much like Dolgul and Abramor too. Too much we feel qualified to hear that in Barmouth. DJ Palsy P is here as well. Nice to have you here. A guy was washing the car with his son, and the son says, "Can't you just use a sponge?" Oh, there we go. Last time I did a live stream, right at the very end, one of our special joke masters, Puddy Cat, turned up as I was about to finish. Why can't he turn up earlier? Hey, come on, Puddy Cat. Come on, Puddy Cat. We want some jokes from you. And, of course, anybody else is welcome to post jokes. I'll even promise not to read them out first, so you can catch me out. I've just got to be smart about it and not read it too out aloud as I'm doing it. You know, I can't even explain myself. Never mind actually get around the problem of reading a joke out that you don't know whether it's going to get you into trouble or not. Eh? Go on, try me. Sorry I'm bored, Af, says DJ Palsy. Oh, you can't be bored. Carol, see, I was away from reading the comments. Right, okay. I was taken for a lovely meal for my 30th birthday, says Windy Miller. A hole ago. I was taken for a lovely meal for my 30th birthday a hole ago. On my 30th birthday, actually, and it was £400 each. Now, what could you possibly have had for £400? How many people were at the £272 meal, asks Carol C. Yeah, I mean, if there were 200 of you, that would be quite cheap, wouldn't it? £400 each, Windy, asks Greenwood. My £100 was between two. Yeah, that needs some explaining, doesn't it? Because nobody should be paying that kind of money. Not really. Now, what's the average wage? Oh, well, last time when I had my last job, before I just started doing things for myself, and as an HGV driver, not working stupid hours, to be honest, but always end up having to do some overtime that I didn't really want to do because it wasn't like asked. It was just like, I had an hour left to work. It's can you just pop to Birmingham to go and pick something up? It's only an hour down the road. Yeah, it's only an hour down the road if you're in a car and you're doing 90 and there's no traffic to worry about. That's how far. Birmingham's 90 miles away, so that's that, isn't it? Anyway, let's not get too distracted. What was I saying? Yeah, wages at the time, that's 6 years ago, I think I came out with about £1,400 a month. £1,400. That means I couldn't even have 4 meals at that price. I couldn't even eat 4 times. Provided that you're going to eat twice a day as well, then you could say you fast all week. Oh no, right, yeah, that's what you'd have to do. Right, here we go. I've figured it out. Right, this is good. This is really good. So we all know that fasting is good for you. So Monday, you're off to work. Say Monday happens to be the first. You have to work and you go all week and you don't bother eating anything because you understand that fasting is good. and it won't really do any harm. Gets to Saturday. Oh, I'm starving. I've not eaten all week. Should we go out for a meal? Yes. Right, okay. Well, I'm going to have to go alone because it's 400 quid a pop. So you do that. You be antisocial. You go and have your meal. And then you fast for the whole week again. And the trouble is, once your money's run out, your money runs out, and then you've got like a week and a half before you can eat again. I don't think that's good value. I don't think that's good value at all. You need to be on a decent wage, much better than a truck driver's wage, surely. I hope that includes the bed as well as a meal, says Carol C. I had a meal last year, says Dino Dad. 6 of us, 1,500 Australian dollars. I think that's £750. Yeah, thereabouts. Luckily, cousin off the telly paid. Still not quite as impressive as Windy's. I mean, maybe someone can beat that. It will never be me. It was a famous place in London, owned by a bloke off the telly, says Windy Miller. Michelin stars as far as the eye could see. It was expensive, of course, but it was also very, very good. I suppose what we have there may be considered in some ways value for money, because you went to a restaurant with, well, so many Michelin stars that you couldn't even count them. A man from the telly owned the restaurant, maybe even cooked for you. That would be even better, wouldn't it? It's giving you something to remember forever and talk about because it cost you £400. Now, if you'd have spent £50, you wouldn't have mentioned it. If you'd have gone 5 times, 8 times rather, learned to add up to a particular place and then thought, you know what, I've spent 400 quid in this restaurant, having 8 meals. Maybe it's time I stopped. You wouldn't really remember it, would you? You would certainly not be having this meal talked about right now on a Mustard live stream. So, given that, I change my mind and say that was good value. Okay. Now, back to the comments. I don't mean to be rude, but I don't want a happy ending for that sort of dough. I want a happy ending for that sort of dough, says 10 mil sockets. My neighbour takes exhaust to church. I'm sure I've seen this before, actually. He's a Catholic converter. Eating out is expensive these days, says DJ Palsy. Just ask... Oh, naughty. Just ask a few lesbians. Boom, boom! I know. Don't give up delaying. Don't give up the DJing. DJing. I thought that did say delaying. 7 courses matched with an appropriate wine, says Windy. Mayfair address. Got to say hello to someone who lives in the television. And they had silver cliches. It was an experience. Silver cliches. Who was this person then? Oh, should we just guess? Should we just guess instead? I love lesbianism, says 10 mil socket. It was so fancy I had to wear a jacket, a formal one, and I wasn't allowed to take it off. I mean, why not add that? You've got to spend £400 on your meal, but you've got to be too hot as well. Brilliant. They tell you how you can dress. They take your money. They tell you you have to dress in a particular way, and they tell you that you can't even take your jacket off. Where else would you get that? That is value for money, isn't it? Question is, though, why couldn't you take your jacket off? Is it because you had to look in a particular way? I suspect that's what it is. But did they lower the heating so it wasn't too uncomfortable? Or did they not bother putting any on to save some money so they didn't have to start charging £450 a meal? You must have been sweating like a cornered nun, It sounds crazy to say this, but when you're there, you can see where your £400 goes. Yeah, exactly. It goes on the anecdote, doesn't it? I know what you mean, though. I do understand what you mean. My uncle bought a paper shop, but it blew away. Imagine actually laughing at that joke. I know. Has anyone heard from Boaty today? Is he feeling a bit better? Oh, he wasn't. Yeah, he was a bit under the weather yesterday, wasn't he? I'm sure he'll be better by now. You know what he's like. If he's going to be ill, he's going to let you know about it. I sold my house yesterday, since Windy Miller. My landlord is going to be furious when he finds out. Well, you say you sold your house. It can't be your house then, can it? I'll do that again. Windy. I used to own an origami business, but it folded. Oh, no, these are not the kind of jokes I want. Come on, 10 mil. No. I want a joke that makes me laugh, makes other people laugh, not ones that make it, oh, shoot, put the Christmas crackers away, mate. Carl Davis says, me and the missus went for a meal in the Shard in London. It was mega expensive, but it had a one-off. It was a one-off and was very nice. I don't regret it. I felt poor in there. Yeah, I bet you did. Clutches. An over-enthusiastic iPad correcting thing. Not Gino Di Campo, I'll wager. He said on Facebook he feels dreadful. Well, I do hope he feels better so I can actually make some fun of him. Zero, thanks for nothing. Okay, look at this. I've actually caught up with the comments. It's always great when that happens, actually. I meet Annie Walker from Coronation Street in a restaurant in 1962. 1962? That's a very, very long time ago. 1962. Are you sure? Do you mean 1982 or something like that? Because 1962, I'm sure, Carol, see, you told me how old you were, and you're not old enough to have been around in 1962. It wasn't hot in there, so wearing a jacket wasn't too bad. It was proper formal-like. Just like the way you explained it. Boaty, he is jokes. I offered to send him one of my coasters, and he didn't. He didn't give me an address. Sod him. I stumbled on. I stumbled on a secret graveyard. It was a dead giveaway. I went to Greg Wallace's restaurant in Fulham a few years ago. It was okay, I suppose. He wasn't there. And that's why it was okay, because he wasn't there. They had more subite, is it subit, which gets them a few extra points. Mort Subite. I don't. Who's that? Who's Mort Subite? My cousin is in Coronation Street at the moment. Well, go on, name drop a bit further and tell us who it is, if you're allowed to, or is it a secret? Right, I see, Carol. In 1962, I was a young child with my parents. She signed a napkin for me. Oh, what a character. Annie Walker. Right, okay, so let's go through some of the famous people I've met, if you're interested. Now, many of you will sit through a Boaty's live stream where he will, basically anecdote his way through half an hour of telling you about a particular thing in San Sebastian or something like that. I can't do that because I've not been there. I have been around Britain for work purposes, and I've been to France. for a work purpose, which was to play guitar at a friend's house who had this big chateau, and I got paid £300 for playing guitar for about an hour, which I thought was great. That was in 2008. So as you can imagine, that £300 is now gone. But that's where I first discovered the beer called Lef. And because it has an E on the end, the assumption is it's called Leffe, but it's not, it's called Lef. Lef. It was very nice. But again, as usual, when you drink something like that in France, as I did in little bottles, that was 6 bottles, 6 330ml bottles that worked out at about £3.80, I think it was. I thought these are great. And then I bought them when I was at home, and they were a lot more expensive. And for some reason, they just didn't taste as good. Nowadays, you can buy Lef in cans as well. But rather than being 6.6%, it is now 6. And for some reason, it just does not taste anywhere near as good as it used to do. Have they been taken over by one of these big breweries like Green King? I don't know. I don't know. But that's really the effect that you have with that kind of thing. So I'm not travelled as much as I'd like to be. Currently, I don't even have a passport. I mean, why would I have a passport? Why would I have a passport? That'd be a bit like having a TV license if you haven't got a television. Or a dog license. Remember, I used to have a dog license. In the past, if you wanted a dog, you had to have a license. And what possibly happened there was that too many people had a dog but didn't have a license. And it was a rather difficult thing for them to keep up with, and thought, sod this, let's license, let's tax something else instead. Does anybody know? I'd be interested to, well, actually, you don't have to tell me, I can find out later on. If I remember this particular question of what happened to dog licenses and why we decided that dog licenses really weren't necessary, I'll find out later, and I'll talk about it in depth in the next live stream and give my opinion on whether we should still have them or not. The usual thing though, just difficult to police. Maybe what will happen next is you won't need a license to have an e-bike. We don't need a license for an e-bike, but like one of those bikes that is powered to go over 15 miles per hour without actually pedaling it. They're actually not really legal, are they? Maybe they'll decide that, well, we'll let them go with that. Let's not worry about it. We can't catch them. Let's catch someone we can catch. And then we're back to the old thing with the old debate on whether mobile speed cameras are such a good thing or not, because all they ever seem to do is catch out people doing 33 miles per hour when they've just come down a hill that's 50. And many people complain, unless they don't drive. Then they just say, well, if you don't speed, you don't get caught. So, yeah, I've been around the UK. I've been pretty much everywhere in the UK, I think. So I know it quite well. Although I didn't make it so that I know where I am. I'll go somewhere that I've not been for a few years, and I find myself struggling to understand what's going on. I mean, really, I can read the signs. I can read the signs. I understand how roads work. But we do have cameras up in place on bus lanes for those that are just momentarily not paying quite enough attention, so they can catch you out and fling you a fine for 30 quid or 60 if you're not well up. If you happen to be one of those people that have to wait 2 weeks before they get paid. Well, we'll make sure you pay more then. Yeah, that'll teach you, won't it? That's happened to me in Sheffield. Yeah, Sheffield. The first time I ever went to Sheffield, I found myself with a fine for driving in a bus lane. And I didn't see it. I didn't know anything about it until later on, a couple of days later, when I had myself a fine for it. And I was most disappointed. You know, it wasn't quite, oh, I'm banged to rights, I shouldn't have done that. It was like, I don't even remember doing that. But there was a picture of the van in the bus lane. The bus lane was about the length of the van. And you weren't allowed to go down it. But of course, the usual thing, sat nav tells you to go down there, and it's not quite up to date. Not like now, we have Google Maps that should be bang up to date and won't send you down somewhere, even because it knows everything that's going on. You know, it's all up to date. In the old days, a while back, it was just a sat nav. You had to update it. Maybe they don't get quite as much funding from people's lack of attention as what they used to do. Anyway, what was I talking about? What was I talking about? Anecdotes or something like that? Are you scoffing the tomatoes again?
Grapes.
Grapes. Disgusting. Let's go back to these comments for the moment then, shall we? Oh, anyway, by the way, if you want me to just bugger off at any point, just say so. Or drop the hint. Or say, look, there's not really very many people here anyway. Why are you bothering? Why not just, do something else? So you can. Anyone stop watching if you want to do. We're not at particularly great numbers tonight, have we? We're not great likes either. Not like the live stream, not the last one, but the one before that. Well, some really good views on that one. And like about 40 odd likes on it as well. Gosh, I was chuffed. I actually felt like I was getting somewhere again. Evidently not. Well, quite a lot of comments just happened then whilst I was waffling on. Yes. Oh, what character? Right. Oh, right. It's in Belgium Creek. It's very nice. Mort subite means sudden death. Paul Newman is here. I gave my handyman a to-do list, but he only did 2 jobs. 1, 3, and 5. Turns out he only does odd jobs. That's a great joke because it's not rude. It doesn't use any swearing or anything like that, but it's still funny. That's great. Temal Socket says she plays a policewoman in Coronation Street and Emmerdale, Sherry Fox. Unfortunately, I'm still none the wiser. DJ Palsy says a parent was wanting someone to dress up as Elsa for their daughter's birthday in a week's time. I think they've left it too late. They should have let it go. Love Curry, says Carol C. I watched a tattoo cover-up last night. A tattoo cover-up show last night, says Dino Dad. The lady had a tat of her nan, but covered it up because it looked like Ken Barlow. I wonder if anyone's had a. Did anyone have a tattoo of Jimmy Savile or somebody like that? Somebody like that, and then of course it comes out that that's not the kind of person you want on your body forever. And then that's where you do a cover-up. What an instance that would be. I'm sorry I thought that, actually. Yeah. I love Belgian beer, says Diane Sturdy. Yes, but I used to love it more. The best ones have been, and I've not seen this for way over a year, in Lidl. They had these bottles of 6 Belgian beers that were reasonably priced, but really, really good. And 4 of them were 10.5%. And that's not messing around at all, is it? That's proper. Well, that's really proper. That's being brave beer. I was hoping they'd have some in for Christmas, but they didn't. Oh, gosh, I do apologise to anyone who finds burps offensive. What do you call a snowman? What do you call a snowman? What do you call it when a snowman melts? DJ Palsy says, what do you call it when a snowman a meltdown? I like that one. My dad was friends with the guy who played the older guy of the first gay couple in the EastEnders. His name was Michael. Probably still is. I got mine back last month after 30 years. Got what back? Oh, your thing. Passport? Is that what it was? The Indians were holding me to ransom. The Belgians are very good at beer, aren't they, Dion? Asks Windy Miller. There's a very good Belgian beer pub in Leek, Staffordshire, if you're ever in the area. You see, the thing is, for me, pubs, I'd love to go to pubs, but they're just expensive, and we're back on this again. It would be brilliant. Imagine having the freedom and the money to just not really even look at the prices and just have what you wanted. That's where we have places that are Michelin stars, surely, that can charge £400 to eat, because there are enough people around that, what's that, 400 quid? Sorry, what's the problem? I've got that. I've got that in my bank account. I'm a man of means. I've got plenty of cash. I could have this meal and still have myself a McDonald's on the way home if I really wanted to do. One of those types, drives a Jaguar, diesel, of course, to try and save money. I mean, it's funny, isn't it, when you have people like, what's he called, Harry's Garage, talking about how much a car costs to run, like it's of any relevance whatsoever to him. Right. You should start from scratch. Now, I don't know whether 10mm Socket is talking to DJ Palsy, who says my jokes are like mixing dreadful, or me, what that's in relevance to. I don't know. I don't know. So I can't expand upon that. I met Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, and became away unscathed. I had a passport, says the Greenwood, so I could get work as an extra. You have to be a British citizen. And also prove my age, identity, and sales sites, etc. on the internet. I don't go abroad. Have you ever been abroad? Because all you're saying is that you had to get a passport. You had to get something that allows you to go out of the country to do something in this country. Is that really what that was? That's a strange story if it is. Lucky Carol. Britain is a cash extraction machine, says Windy Miller. Anything that can be charged for is. These cameras and stuff are not for our safety or convenience. No, of course they're not. Yapping again, Mustard, without a question mark on the end, it says dull for life. Of course I am. Yes, I'm here to do exactly that for those people that might actually want me to do it. There may be many people who don't want me to do it, and being as there are only 25 people in this live stream, and there are approximately 72 million people in Britain, then we can extract that 72 million people away from my live stream right now and assume that they're not interested. Maybe it's because I'm yapping. I've got a passport, says Windy Miller. I use it to go to different countries. It's very useful for that. That's what I'd like one for. I would very much like to go to different countries. I'd very much like to move to a different country, actually, because I'm worried about not liking this one quite as much. Where would you live? If you had the choice of anywhere in the world, where would you go to? I'm thinking I'd like the south of France, where probably lots of other people would go as well. But not because lots of other people would be there, but the south of France is just very appealing to me. Be nice to go somewhere that is generally quite warm and dry, but without being really, really hot. I was repatriated from India in the 1990s, says 10 mil socket, and I don't have a return ticket. They paid the bill, but held my passport until I got paid last month. Only 34 years late. Wow. I used to be on nodding terms with Nick Hancock when I used to go to the football. Oh, that's where I started off, wasn't it? I just remembered talking about famous people that I know, or not know, but I've met. I'll come back to that. Or should I do it now? Actually, it's not like I've any great anecdote about it. It's just that, you know, as people do, if you know somebody famous, it's the same kind of thing as paying £400 for a meal, where it becomes of value because you can tell people about it. So it doesn't matter who it is and what the story is. Johnny Crook, who was here before, had has a couple of really good anecdotes about famous people, but he's not here. At least I don't think he is. If Johnny Crook is still here, please let me know, and I will tell that particular anecdote of yours about how you got into Rovers, because I thought it was very, very interesting. But I'd be more interested in talking to someone who is of my kind of age, who hasn't met anyone famous, because surely there are enough famous people about that everyone's met famous people. But then we have a different interest. Some people we're not even interested in whether you meet them or not. So, for example, and I bet I told this one before, I met Wayne Rooney in the training ground when I was delivering cable there. Now, I knew it was him, even though I don't like football. I just recognise him, because he's one of these people that's been in the public eye so much that whether you like him or it or not, you just recognise that face. Yeah. So he was there, but it was kind of quite polite, I suppose. He was stood about 15 feet away, and he saw me come in, and he just looked over at me and just did a kind of a let-on thing. But because I don't like football, I just looked right past him as if he wasn't there, and I feel, in some ways, I feel a bit rude about that. But the weird thing is, I thought afterwards that he won't have thought to himself, "Oh yeah, that's one of those people that don't like football. Why do we all assume that everybody likes football just because I do?" He won't have thought that. What he would have thought is that, "Oh yeah, we're one of those that supports the other team," which makes that a really annoying thing. That he's gone home afterwards, having got in his Aston Martin and driven home, and then gone to Sainsbury's and bought some stuff he doesn't really need that probably won't help his training, and thought, he'd gone on to Colleen. Does he still have that lady called Colleen? If he does, then he'd have gone on and said, "Oh, I saw some guy in the training ground before. I was trying to be polite to him. He's one of the workers, and he was delivering some cable, and he just looked right past me. He must be a supporter of another team, Colleen." Not happy about that, because they take it all really seriously, don't they? So now I wish I'd just said, "Oh, hello. You're actually, it's not even like I didn't have his name there. It was right there anyway. I just, hello, Wayne Rooney. I'm sorry. Nice to meet you. But I don't like football." Yeah. And he did something. What, really? You don't like football? No, I don't. I've got absolutely no interest in football at all. But my job is to bring this here today, and I'm sorry I bumped into you, and it's really embarrassing because I don't want you going away thinking that I like another team, and so I've got some sort of issue with you. It's not that at all, Wayne Rooney. No, it's just that I don't like football. That'd have been much better, wouldn't it? If he'd have understood that, and he probably would have gone home and not worried about it so much, or gone home and said, "Yeah, Colleen, I met a man today," and she'd go, "And yeah, he said he doesn't like football." And then she'd have carried on reading a book. I met Bobby Ball. Bobby Ball. He had a restaurant, a nightclub thing in Rochdale called Braces. This was in the early 80s. And my dad, Senior Mustard, was doing quite a lot of the electrics there. And he said, he's a grumpy bugger. That's all he said. He just said, oh, he's a right grumpy bugger. And I had to go there with him one day for some reason or other. And I could see him knocking about. He was the first famous person I think I ever saw when I was about 11. And I remember thinking, oh, Bobby Ball. Will it make me go nervous? But actually, he did look just like a businessman. It was kind of just, let's get this sorted out there, get that sorted out, and then he just buggered off. He wasn't like being his usual Bobby Ball self. So yeah, that was interesting, but it wasn't. I met Peter Kay. Well, I say I met him. He did a few years back. He did this thing about sharing a car to go to work in, a sitcom about that. And he had that Fiat 500L thing, that really stupid red Fiat 500L. And it was just about talking, sharing the car on the way to work with this woman. I didn't think it was that great. But anyway, a lot of it was filmed at the place I used to work. And so he was there. We was watching him do all this stuff. And the truck that I drove was in the background in one of the things. I actually took a picture. I took a screenshot of it on the TV. No, it wasn't a screenshot. I took a picture of it because that's my truck. Sad. I met Jeff Hanneman. Who knows Jeff Hanneman? Jeff Hanneman and Tom Araya of the band Slayer. Jeff Hanneman's no longer with us, but this was in a nightclub in Manchester called Gillies in about 1989, I think it was. Anyway, and I'm sorry if I've told this story before, but I'd not been playing guitar for very long at the time. And I just got talking to him, because I enthusiastic. I knew who they were, talking to them. And Jeff Hanneman had a drink of my beer. I had a bottle of Newcastle Brown, and he had a slug of it. Yep. And my mate Phil saw this, and his jaw kind of dropped to him. And I'll buy you a new bottle of beer if I can have that. And I said, yeah. Too right, I could have another bottle of beer for the price of nothing, just because that man drunk out of it. So I've shared spit with a thrash metal guitarist from California. I think they're from California. Anyway, so I suppose for Phil, I bet he's still got that bottle. I bet he's got that bottle amongst all of his other things that he can then tell a story about. But I get to tell the story, but I don't have to clutter the place up with a bottle, an empty bottle of Newcastle Brown. Who wins? I think I did at the time. So you can see where I'm coming from. I met famous people too. I met what's he called? He was a war correspondent. Somebody Nicholson. Oh, what's he called? Yeah. There's a war correspondent called somebody Nicholson. And now I'm kind of annoyed that I can't remember his name. Buggeration. Anyway, that's probably it. Although, I met some people that are considered famous YouTube people, like Alex's Assets, Smashing Pistons. You don't get that much more famous than him, do you? Boaty's World, Mike Fernie. Yeah, I've met them all. I haven't met them all, but I've met most of them in my time doing these kind of things. And there are other people as well, but I don't really want to talk about it because I don't want to show off. So Me explaining this there is one of those things I'm talking because it's a story. Some of them are a little bit interesting, and some of them are just a bit too boring to continue. So let's carry on with yapping out what you've been saying. I just realised I've been doing an hour and a half today. Wouldn't it have been great if this had been like a really big, successful live stream? Because I've shown tonight that I can actually talk. Nick Hancock. Shame to admit this, says DJ Palsy. I met Jimmy Savile twice in the 80s. Twice. Well, that's the 80s. Last year, I bought my missus a fake leg as a stocking filler. Excellent. Thank you, Dino Dad. Eye contact and nod. And the occasional, all right, Carl, and I was feeling brave. I'm nearly 50 and I've never used essential oils. Makes me wonder how essential they are, says Dino Dad. Yeah, it's just a name, isn't it? I met Jimmy Savile too. DJ. It was in beanbags at the end of Jim or Fix. Oh yeah, that sounds like it's potentially a very traumatic experience. When I was at school, says Windy, they made us write a letter to Jim or Fix It. I wanted to do a jump in the General Lee, which wasn't practical, as it turns out, for the best. How do you know if a snowman is having a meltdown? By your wet feet. Maybe they should call it a optional oils. Yeah, absolutely. Optional oils. A few people would bother buying them, though. Tracy spelt ball bags wrong. Steve Colger's here. Hello, Steve. Tripathy. Hi. I was thinking of opening a VD clinic from scratch. Right. Tripathy, I got a gift. And Casper, the video game player. Hello. I have to wait years for you to read my comment. Don't be so impatient. It's not all about just reading comments. I don't think, anyway. Casper, come back tomorrow. I posted my comments Friday. Boring famous fact, says Dino Dad. My cousin was the drummer in Cutting Crew. I just died in your arms tonight. Yep, I don't go abroad. I last few times was only to Jersey. I was a baby in France when I was 11. Poland. Who's been to Poland? You been to Poland? Bahamas? Oh, right, yes, of course, where you would go. You'd choose Poland. That's interesting. And Carol C. would like to live in the Bahamas. Oh, and the other cousin is Kevin McLeod off the telly. Oh, that's interesting. I would like to live in northern Spain, says Windy Miller, near the Pyrenees and close to the south of France so I can enjoy both Spanish and French life. And I like the mountains and the sea. I can't really disagree with that. Windy says, my sister was a hairdresser and once cut the hair of Harold from Neighbours. Oh, shit. That's actually gone down really rather well. I can't not have another one. By the way, forgive me for this, but it is actually my birthday, and because it is my birthday, I'm able to have a guilt-free beer as bought by Lady Wife. So we went into Morrison's before, and the John Willie Lee's Moonraker, actually brewed by a friend of mine. Some of you will know who he is one of my favourites, and it just doesn't turn up in the shops very often. So the Morrisons in Rochdale do stock it from time to time, but usually it's not there at all. So this one wants a quick flash in the freezer for a couple of minutes to get it to be just the right temperature. Johnny Crook didn't come back, did he? What a shame. What a shame. That'd have been great to tell that. Where did my glasses go? There they are. Okay. It's felt like a rather cool evening, this, but I do feel I should just stop quite soon because I don't normally do live streams for this length of time. So I'm going to say 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes, taking it to 1 hour and 45. If you want a long live stream, of course, our friend Boaty does never feel guilty about doing that. And that's why he's happy for you to just sit and watch the clouds all day. Some of you like that kind of thing. Poor Harold, not doing too well. Oh, what Harold Bishop? He's going to be really old now, isn't he? Bishop seems like a really old name, actually. Harold Bishop, Emily Bishop. Did Rooney have a granny on his arm? Asked PJ Palsy. No, not that I noticed. He had a football in his hand, though. That was the really weird thing. It's not like he was, he was properly showing that he was a football player in a football ground. My dad was a famous Irish stone-throwing champion, Ricochet. Ricochet. Thank you, 10 mil. Oh, I don't know. He was sat at the off peak of his powers, appearing in panto, got his hair cut in a nice little village. Carl Davis said, I got told to F off by Jim Rosenthal in 1981 at an athletics event he was commenting on. We were on a school trip and I was dancing around behind him whilst he was filming. Steve Ovett gave me a certificate because I ran around the circles for 6 minutes. Always get mixed up with Steve Ovett and the other one that's a politician. I can't think of who that is. Seb Coe. No, not Seb Coe. Please like the live stream for the birthday boy mustard, says Carol C. Yeah, why not? Why not do that? If we get to 27 likes, remember, I can have a beer then, and that will also please me very much. Also, I mean, I'm quite in a celebratory mood because I'm getting so close to having the thing monetized, and then I really will start cracking on with bunging up different videos, because there are a lot of things I do that don't belong on the other channel. Plus, something's happening next week which will mean that the house will be more empty more of the time. And if you know me quite well, then you'll know I do like to work completely alone. If there are people about, I don't tend to get on and video and do creative things. I like to be completely alone to do it. So this channel will be the one that benefits from those couple of days a week where the house is empty. Funny how some people's names don't look like their faces, if you know what I mean. I thought you read that as feces then. Dino. Windy says, I had an encounter with Sean Ryder once. He was in the bar in central Manchester and was very drunk. we said hi to him, and he and he asked how my mum was and gave me £50 and told me to get around for everyone. That's very nice of him, isn't it? Sean Ryder's a legend, says Carl. I did, but I did think by then he remembered he had no idea where bus who spoke to us anymore, so I kept the change. Paul Newman says, Norman Pace, Halen Pace. He was a PA teacher at my school in the 1980s. I don't know, he was a teacher. My geography teacher at school was Morris's uncle. He was a boring git too. Cliff Richard came to our school to talk in my class about religion, says Carol. Mate David Dickinson once, the guy, the level of mahogany was off the scale. My uncle once fitted Rod and Emu's TV aerial. He said the emu kept popping out of the top window and shaking the ladder. My most recent celebrity encounter was with Tanel Gankert, the pro cyclist, on the bus you get when you get in the plane that takes you off to the terminal. That one's really confused me, actually. Michael Nicholson, that's him. Yes, thank you, Carl. Yeah, I met Michael Nicholson because I used to teach his son guitar. And he's not alive any longer. Well, I mean, I don't mean his son, I mean Michael Nicholson. It was a jolly, interesting chap. And his son was really kind of sparky brained as well, which I liked. So I got along with him really, really well. But he said his dad was like, he's one of these proper military types. He's like, things, you do this and that. It's like there's no joy anywhere. It's just, you go out and you do things. And I didn't really get that impression with him particularly. I liked him a lot. Has everyone else in the house gone to bed, including Wilma? Nope, they were all in their front room. They're watching Outnumbered. My friend, says Windy Miller, was on a flight to Ibiza, and the kids sat behind and kept kicking the back of the seat. Eventually turned round and had a word. It was Bernard Summers' kid. Bernard Sumner. Bernard Sumner, I don't know who that is actually. I had an 8-stage winner at the Tour de France. Cheer me on by my name. My firm buried Savile. Put up and looked down his stone. Put up and took down his stone. Mind you, I have the same name as some poor bloke that made movies, says Paul Newman. Owned a racing team and does a line of sausages and dressings. More info, Gaz. Who was it? I lived in Australia, moved there. Right, you just Baz Hoban. No boaty live stream tonight. Still feeling dreadful. Gosh, well, that is unusual, actually. It does take a lot to knock that man down, doesn't it, when it comes to live streams? Oh, dear. Oh, dear, indeed. Archbishop Madge, Lord Colen, Peter 27. Hi, John Bollocks. Oh, John Bollocks is here. Oh. Mrs. Miller once told me that she had... once told me that someone dead famous was spotted in our local petrol station. I just checked and it's Eddie Redmayne. I will endeavour to meet him. There we are. Well, I've actually caught up. I've heard that Alvin Stardust wasn't his real name. His real name was Dave Stardust. Right. Anyway, I think that we are at an end tonight. I mean, really, I suppose I could have been that boat is not even doing. I could have just carried on, but I know my limits. I know my limits, and I don't really want to go beyond them. But what I do want to do is properly enjoy this beer. I don't know if anyone's ever tried the Moonraker before, but it's fabulous. It's a very, very dark beer, 6.5%. Cheers, everyone. Now then, all that's left is for me to thank everyone who's joined in with this tonight. It's been a rather lovely and easy live stream. Tomorrow night, I'm planning on doing another one. I've said that every Sunday night I'll do one. I've done that. Tonight's been a special one because a few people have said, look, you do one for your birthday, including my girls and the wife. I've said, why not do one tonight? Just because it's the thing to do. And I've actually enjoyed doing it because I was full of resistance. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do a birthday live stream. No, thank you. But no. So tomorrow I will be back. And I will be back at 9 o'clock. Yeah, let's do 9 o'clock. And I will probably do another hour and a bit. So if you'd like to join me then, I'd like to have you with me. So thank you to everyone who's been here. Thank you for liking the live stream. Thank you. A special big thank you to the Greenwood for always doing the moderation. What are you saying there? Benz. Thank you very much, Windy Miller. And thank you to Stratuspherian for yet again gifting some memberships. And that's such a lovely thing to do. And I really, really appreciate it. So thank you, Stratuspherian. Thank you. Good night. See you on the internet tomorrow. Knock, knock. Oh, knock, knock. Dishes. Dishes who? Dishes Bond. James Bond. Right. Okay. So there we go. Thank you very much, as I've said. And I'll see you tomorrow if you're here. Bye-bye.